Hello, gorgeous lady. Welcome. I'm Naomi, and I am super excited to have you here with me today as we talk about something that's very, very important. And that particular topic is you, my darling. So specifically, what I want to talk about is your journey to finding the beautiful, loving relationship that I know that you deserve, and ways that, hopefully I might be able to help you to make that journey a little faster and more enjoyable than trying to do it all on your own. So welcome. It's great to have you here. And we've got some really cool content that we're going to be running through over the next half an hour or so. Now might be a good time to grab a notebook, piece of paper, a glass of wine, a coffee, some bubbles, whatever it is that works for you, and settle in, because we've got some great content to share with you. And, I'm sure that you will probably want to take some notes along the way. Now, if I was to take a guess, I would say perhaps you're a woman who is ready now for a new relationship. You've probably been hurt before. You might be in your 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm not sure how old you are. But you're somebody who truly values love, and who knows that life is better with love. And you know that, whilst you might have loved and lost before and things haven't always worked out, there's this little voice inside of you that goes, your purpose on this earth is to love and be loved, and that, you can have a great life on your own, but it's not a complete and fulfilling life if you don't have that special partner to share, because that's kind of like an innate knowing that's why you're here on earth, and that's what you want to have as part of your life. And you know what? You deserve it, darling. And this program that I've created is all about helping women who have this sense of knowing that being in a beautiful relationship that's right for them is part of their destiny. And what I'm about is helping you to be able to find the pathway forward as fast and graceful and easily as you possibly can, by showing you some step-by-step actions and some different ways of learning some wisdom, some insights, and some different ways of thinking, being, and doing, to be able to make that journey faster and easier and more joyful and fun and playful and juicy, and to get you over to that other side where that love exists for you. Because I truly believe that we're not given a desire without the means to be able to achieve that. And, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. So the fact that you're here with me now is no accident. And, what I want to show you is the path to be able to get that beautiful relationship that that you deserve. So you may already be familiar with this particular model that I've got on the screen at the moment. It was written by Abraham Maslow back in the 1950s, and it's been used in loads and loads and loads of different leadership and personal behaviour and psychology and all sorts of models, emotional intelligence models. But it's basically talks about what is it that human beings need in order to feel satisfied in life. So the top of the pyramid is self-actualization, and self-actualization is basically being the best we can be, feeling enlightened, feeling empowered, feeling like everything's working well, and feeling really peaceful and the top of the mountain, if you like. But to get to that point, what Maslow says is that we need to have our basic needs met first. So our first level of needs are survival needs, and they're sort of physiological or physical needs. Things like, we've got to be able to breathe, we've got to eat and drink. Sex, he actually says that sex is a survival need. So, Mother Nature has created us that our bodies need to have sex in order to feel healthy. You know, we have all of these pumping hormones through us, and, you know, we're created, Mother Nature has created us very cleverly for survival of the species. You know, we're driven to have sex. We're meant to. It's part, just like eating and breathing and drinking water and sleeping and all of that sort of stuff. You know, we are meant to have sex at a primal, I guess, you know, reproductive level. You know, we're designed to meet with a partner and mate. Once we've got those physical needs met, the next level is safety or security, and that's things like feeling safe, you know, feeling like we've got work, meaningful work, that we've got money coming in, that we can live, you know, a good life, you know, and have health and a roof over our head and that sort of thing, yeah. Once we've got that met, the next natural progression that all human beings have is we want to feel love and belonging, or some sort of connection. And there's three types of love and belonging that he talks about. One is through our friends, you know, social love, if you like. The next one is through our family, which is a different type of love. But, you know, the third is something that we're here to talk about today, and that is the sexual intimacy. So, you know, we can have sex with other people, and, you know, that's okay. That's a physical function. But the love that we're talking here is intimacy, and it's with one particular person. And it is a higher level need other than just sex, even though sex is great and it's part of the journey, of course. But this is about sexual, emotional, and, you know, physical intimacy with one special partner. So, you know, what I believe is that all of us have these needs within us, and, you know, if at some level these needs are not met, so, you know, if we can't eat, we're going to be you know, probably feeling pretty frustrated. If we don't have money coming in the door, we don't feel safe, we're going to be frustrated. If we don't have that sexual and emotional intimacy, we're going to feel frustrated. So we're going to feel like something's missing. So just want to say that, you know, this is natural, it's normal. We all deserve to be loved, and, you know, it is all sitting out there waiting for us to just step up and claim it. But I guess my first question that I want to ask you, though, is, you know, what does a life look like with love for you? And every one of us has a different version of this vision. But the more powerful your vision, the clearer you are about, you know, what is it that you want to create? You know, what does that mean in terms of, you know, holidays together, and, you know, maybe financially? Does that mean, you know, buying a house together? Does it mean, you know, going to, you know, special events like Christmases and work functions, and, you know, family gatherings and weddings and funerals and all of those sort of stuff? Like, does it mean living together? Does it mean, you know, casual dating? Does it mean, you know, introducing with each other, you know, to each other's friends and social circles? You know, what are the sort of things that you like to do together? How are you going to share the household duties? All of that sort of stuff, you know, having a think about, you know, what is it that you want? And, you know, most importantly, how do you want to feel in that relationship? Because the clearer we are about what it is that we want, the easier it is to be able to create it. So, you know, most people that I've coached in the past find it really easy to tell me all the things that they don't want. But guess what happens when we focus on everything that we don't want? We actually keep attracting more of that. So, you know, the first tip that I would say to you is start to think about, you know, what is important to you about having, you know, a life with love, with that special man by your side, and what do you have with that you don't already have today, and how does that make you feel as a woman? And, you know, as we focus on some of these things, everything else becomes easier, because it's like starting with the end in mind and working backwards. Yeah. So, you know, I have a belief. I believe that we all deserve to be loved, no matter what you've done or haven't done, no matter what you could have done or should have done or did do or didn't do. You know, everything that's brought you to where you are today has been a teacher and has helped you to get even clearer about what you want most in the future. So, you 100% are worthy of love. You are beautiful enough. You are smart enough. You are rich enough. You are, thin enough, curvy enough. You are everything enough. But this is now about, owning your enoughness and, really believing and knowing on some level that there is somebody out there who is looking for somebody just like you. But now is a time for you to be able to start preparing yourself to be able to draw in this lovely man. Because I actually believe that finding great love's not easy. Once upon a time when we were growing up, I know I grew up in a regional town called Bundaberg in Queensland, and we used to go to a nightclub called Crystal's Nightclub, and back in the day we would stand at the bar, we would order a drink. If we were lucky, some guy might buy us drinks. But we'd stand there looking all cool, sipping on our drinks and hoping that one of the guys would come up and ask us for a dance. And if we liked him, we might have a little sneaky pash on the dance floor or something like that. And, that was how we met people. But these days, things are so much different, yeah? With internet and, things have expanded so much. There's no shortage of available men. There is the absolute opposite. There's an abundance of amazing men out there, but it's never been harder to be able to find the right one. So anybody can jump on Tinder tomorrow and hook up and find somebody, but most of us don't want that, and most of us are really looking for that soul deep, rich, beautiful relationship. And I'm going to show you how you can get that. So, because it is hard. It is hard, by the time we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and we've been around the traps, we've, fallen down, had our shins skinned a bit. We've, maybe, broken our heart and broken a few hearts along the way. And, we become a bit set in our ways. Life is a bit more complex when we're, potentially if we've got children or, both sides of us, sometimes when we've gone through some hard stuff emotionally, we put up walls, we have fear kicks in, there's a lot of emotional barriers, there's a bit of brokenness that's not healed that we bring forward into other relationships. And it is a bit of a minefield out there. There's like scammers and all sorts of, interesting characters that show up and try to take advantage of single women. It is challenging, but that's why we need to invest our time and energy in becoming informed and empowered, because the best enemy for any of that sort of stuff is an empowered, informed woman who actually is strong in herself and is really clear about what she wants and is clear about who she is and what she deserves, and just will not settle for less than you deserve. It's not your fault that you've been hurt in the past. It's not your fault that you might have some walls up to stop yourself from getting hurt. It's not your fault that there's a lot of men out there that are not suitable. It's not your fault that you're this or that or whatever. We have two voices that we can listen to, and we have a choice. You can listen to the one that's going to tell you it's too hard, they're all losers, you're too this, you're too that, you're not enough of this, you're not enough of that, this is going to be hard, it's going to be, whatever, nobody's ever going to love you, all of that sort of stuff. We've all got those voices in our head, yeah. That's normal. But we've got to tell that little bitch to bugger off and to leave us alone. And we've got to choose our inner voice that we listen to as to what path we're going to take moving forward. It is your responsibility. If you want this, it's your responsibility to step up and to believe in yourself and to back yourself and to build your inner strength, my darling, my beautiful, gorgeous, darling lady. And guess what? It feels great when you do that. And it feels like fun. It feels playful and it feels joyful and it feels so goddamn freeing. You don't feel like you're vulnerable at all. You feel so strong and actually really powerful. So I want to show you that path. But first of all, I want to ask you a question. And this question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is love to you? So I really want you to give some thought to this. So 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely 100%, it's what I want. 1 being, nah, don't want it at all. 5 being, you know, if it falls out of the sky and lands in my lap while I'm sitting watching Netflix, it'd be all right. So think about your number, 1 to 10. And now I'm going to actually say something to you which may or may not surprise you. But I'm going to say, if your number is an 8 or below, I'm going to invite you now to turn off this video and go off and do something else. So, you know, if you're wishy-washy in terms of whether you want this or not, there's probably not going to be value in you, you know, spending more time on this webinar, because the stuff that I'm going to show you really relies on somebody who has a strong desire, who's willing to take action, and who's ready to do what it needs to do to have this outcome. So, you know, if you're a 9 or a 10, fabulous, love it. Please hang around and I'm going to show you the path. But if you're up to a 1 to an 8, look, thanks for tuning in at this stage. When you're ready and it is a priority for you, love to have you back within the circle. So, what I want to share with you is that the only way that you're going to have this outcome is by going into what I call the magic zone. And the magic zone is where you absolutely have a strong desire. So you must be a 9 or a 10 out of 10 to go, yep, I absolutely want a relationship. The next step is being willing to take action. So you can't sit there watching your netties with a glass of wine in your hand and eating a pizza and a box of chockies and think that this dude's going to fall out of the sky and land in your lap. It's probably not going to happen. You're going to have to step up and do some stuff for him to turn up. But the third piece of this is building awareness of wisdom, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So what I'm going to be showing you, my darling, is the wisdom, the awareness, the insights, the knowledge, the power to be able to get inside his head and really understand how to win at the game of love. And your role, my darling, is to want it and to take action. And that's how we're going to work together for you to be able to create this. So I thought I might share a little bit about my background just to give you an insight into, I guess, where I've come from and why I'm suddenly doing this. So I started my career in the financial services sector in AGC, actually, in Bundaberg, and which is part of the Westpac Bank Group. Now, I started off as a typist. I thought that my career was going to be forever as a typist. I had a strong work ethic, but I didn't particularly think that I would be super successful. In the early 90s, I was selected, very fortunately, right place at the right time, to take part in a program called the Springboard Women's Development Program. And this was an accelerated development program for high potential women that were earmarked to go into leadership roles in the future. So we were given a fairly intensive mentoring program, lots of personal development, lots of coaching, lots of support, lots of empowerment to be able to kind of own our power and step up and you know, move forward within the organisation. So it was back in the days of affirmative action when they wanted more women to come through. So I absolutely loved that program, and you know, that was where I fell in love with coaching and empowerment and personal development. You know, I went on to do lots and lots of coaching qualifications and you know, emotional intelligence work. After that, 5 years on, I started mentoring other women within the workplace because I achieved 2 or 3 levels of promotion in that period, and was very passionate about empowering women in the workplace. I ended up being a judge on the Telstra Business Women's Awards, headed up the General Electric Women's Network. I was on the Women in Finance Committee, representing females in the industry, financial services industry. and recognised on the who's who of Australian women for my services in supporting women in the financial services industry. So did a lot of that empowering women. I taught women how to win in a man's world, basically. And, you know, I was mentored by some amazing men. And what I didn't know at the time was that I actually had taken on a lot of masculine energy in order to become successful. So, you know, I was working in, you know, in banking, business banking, and, you know, some commercial sort of environments where it was very much a men's world. And I was successful, but I'd adapted my behaviour to fit in to an environment which was very masculine. So, you know, I thought I was Superwoman. I thought I was, you know, the go-to girl that could get anything done. I was like, yeah, whatever men can do, I can do better, and all this sort of stuff. So on the outside, you know, it looked like I was this, you know, super cool power chick. But you know, what I learned is that, you know, what works in business doesn't always work in love. And, you know, by this point I'd been married twice. I was married in 1990 and then remarried. That marriage lasted for 10 years, remarried again in 2003. That one lasted for 10 years as well. But what I learned after, you know, having a horrendous burnout and, you know, feeling really exhausted and, you know, very, you know, starting to get very ill from, you know, working and spinning my wheels and trying to keep it all the balls in the air while I was in the corporate workspace, is that the masculine energy that I'd taken on and been rewarded for and praised for and, you know, developed and reinforced years and years and years and years, that was helping me to be successful at work was actually really detrimental to having a happy relationship, because I was coming home and being the man, if you like, in the relationship, which, you know, and then wondering why, you know, I wasn't getting my needs and why my husband wasn't stepping up to love me the way that I wanted to be loved. So after my second divorce, I realized that, you know, I still wanted to be loved. I still wanted to have a partner in my life. I still wanted to live a beautiful life with a great man who would adore me and, you know, cherish me and, you know, spoil me and romance me and all those sort of things. But, you know, the likelihood of me having that after I'd had 2 divorces was pretty slim. So what I realized is that the divorce rates for a first marriage is around 40% of first marriages ending in divorce. Second marriage, you know, a bit over around 57%, I think, and in second marriage. But third marriage, almost 70% of third marriages end in divorce. So the more relationships we go on, you know, we think we're going to get the ideal man, but we bring all of our stuff with us. And until we clean all of that up and learn new ways, we're going to continue to repeat the past into our future. So, you know, what I realized is that, you know, when I was married the first time in my 20s, I thought I knew it all. I thought I knew everything. Second time, I sort of thought I knew it all. But, you know, the third time now, I realized there was a lot that I didn't know. And, you know, I didn't know what I didn't know. So, you know, it made me realize that, you know, I guess with, you know, vulnerability and an open heart, I realized that I needed to learn more and change who I was being and what I was doing in order to get what I really wanted most in my future. So, you know, most women, you know, every woman that I've ever worked with has a beautiful intention. You know, we all want to be loved. We all want to have a great, you know, family unit. We want to have that strong man by us. We want to nurture and adore him. We want to create this beautiful future. You know, everybody's intention is pure. But our strategy or our ways that we go about it is what sometimes needs some adjusting, and that's what I'm here to show with you. So the 5 things that I see most women do that makes things, you know, that start off beautiful, that turn, you know, upside down pretty quickly is Number one, we don't understand the science of love. And what I mean by the science of love is masculine and feminine dynamics. We don't understand how Mother Nature has created us differently as men and women. And, you know, when we honour our man's masculinity and we step into our own femininity, that's what creates the beautiful attraction. And those roles really work in a relationship. Law of attraction. You know, law of attraction says like attracts like. So, you know, if we're being grumpy and cranky and blaming and angry and fearful and, you know, have our guards up and, you know, all not trusting and all of that sort of stuff, you know, we're going to attract somebody that's going to give us those sort of experiences to reinforce our beliefs. So until we clean up all of the past stuff and work through it and get up to that higher frequency energy, we're not going to attract somebody who's, you know, who's lovely and clean and happy and is going to give us everything that we want, because we're not on the right frequency. So, you know, we've got to do the inner work to be able to get to the point where we attract that beautiful, gorgeous man. We don't have a strategy. So there is a process that I'm going to show you that you can strategically create to be able to have the best possible outcomes in finding a partner. It's not just a case of, you know, go out and hope for the best at a bar or you know, like playing the pokies, pressing Tinder to see which one's going to turn up. I don't know, whatever it is, but there is a strategy that I can show you. We don't have an informed support system. So, you know, as women, we all tend to have somebody that we have a chat to, but who are we really turning to for advice? You know, we're talking to our married friend that's been married for, you know, 20 years. Well, you know, have they really been out in the dating scene lately? Or we're talking to our mum, things were differently back then. Or we're talking to, you know, our girlfriend who's been burnt by a few guys and is a bit bitter and cranky and, oh, all men are bastards or whatever. You know, who do we turn to for advice? Or, you know, we turn to, you know, whatever. So who's in your corner giving you advice, and are they doing it for the right reasons? Are they empowering you? Are they giving you really supportive advice that actually is going to help you to move forward? And the last one is we don't know how to bring out the best in a man. So, you know, when we truly understand you know, what makes a man fall in love, what it is that he finds most attractive in women, my God, seriously, this is such a beautiful place to be, because he will think that you are the most amazing woman in the world because of how he feels around you, right? So, you know, there's some certain things that I'm going to show you that actually will turn somebody from black to white. And, you know, I've seen men, you know, drop to their knees and fall massively in love with women who you might not necessarily think are the most attractive or the smartest or the funniest or the most beautiful or whatever, but it's all about how we make this man feel. And, you know, what are the things that we do that actually make him feel so connected to us? And so, you know, what I discovered is that there is a science to love, attraction, and relationships. You know, I did a 5-year and 5 million tears journey trying to work all of this out. You know, I started with, spiritual leaders and, you know, personal development leaders and relationship gurus. I studied with lots and lots of people around, you know, the psychology of men and women in love. You know, I've underpinned that with, you know, a very strategic process, because, you know, I come from workplace coaching is my background. So, you know, everything that I do needs to be strategic, have a process, have results, have checkpoints to know that we're successful and all that sort of stuff. So I've taken, you know, lots and lots of different information and brought this together to show you a path that I promise you won't take you 5 years and 5 million tears. It's going to be a whole lot faster than that, because I've done the work and put it together into a simple process for you. But, you know, the first thing I need you to do before you would even look at getting started is just to have an open mind. And, you know, as I said, once upon a time, I was the power chick that was, you know, in the corner flying the flag for women, you know, women, anything men can do, women can do better. And, you know, I was that sort of get out of my way, I'm coming through sort of girl, you know, whatever. You know, everything's changed for me in the context of how I show up. You know, this is about being open to a different approach. And, you know, a different approach, which is actually going to give you more power. It doesn't take away your power at all. It's not a weaker approach. It's actually a more beautiful approach that will make you feel happier and calmer, less stressed, and, you know, more joyful. And that's what we do when we really own our feminine power. And I promise you that it's much nicer to be in that space and receive, rather than being one that's always having to do the chasing and trying to feel like you have to do all the work. So the first thing I want you to really get your head around is that, you know, men and women are not the same. You know, apples and oranges, we're made completely different. And, you know, when we treat them how we want to be treated, we actually attract a more feminine man, yeah? Because we're creating the environment for him to receive how a woman wants to receive, right? So when we treat a man how he wants to be treated as a man, which we need to understand all of this stuff first, he actually steps up and starts to give back to us. And so just like we want a man that treats us as a woman, he wants a woman that treats him as a man. So the first step is really understanding that, you know, whilst, you know, many, many years ago, there were very traditional roles where the man would go out to work and, you know, mum would stay home and look after the kids in the house and have everything pretty and so on when he comes home. That sort of dynamic is traditionally how we've been created. Now, I know that everything's changed and both men and women are working now, and, you know, we're both income earners, we're both, you know, needing to step up and share the load, and so on and so on. But there's a modern day version of masculine and feminine energy, which is all about bringing out the masculine in our man. And, you know, when we can understand this on the deepest level, that's when we start to move into a place where we attract this strong gentleman. Now, the strong gentleman, and this is, I guess, my idea of the type of man that I wanted for myself, and that, you know, I also want for you. So the strong gentleman is somebody who, he's got his act together, you know, he's in a good place, he's happy with his life, he's done the work to heal his past, you know, he's not, you know, coming along with, you know, screaming ex-wives and all sorts of dramas. You know, he's in a good place emotionally. He knows what he wants. He's ready to share his life. He appreciates having a beautiful woman on his side. He likes to take the lead. He's a gentleman. He's chivalrous. He makes you feel safe, and he likes to nurture and you know, bring you flowers, or, you know, buy you dinner, or, you know, whatever that might feel like to you. You know, and he really wants to be with a woman who's happy and confident, who's beautiful on the inside and out. And, you know, this gentleman is strong on the outside. He's got your back. He's not going to, you know, take any rubbish, but he's very soft and gentle with the right woman. And that's the sort of man that, you know, I want you to have, my darling. Now, you know, that was what I wanted. And, you know, I wrote a big wish list, you know, lots and lots of things on my wish list. And, you know, I went out and kissed a few frogs, met lots of different men along the way, learned different things about myself, different things about what I was really looking for, kept refining my list. And in the end, now I'm pleased to say that I have a beautiful relationship. This is my sweetheart, Andy. And, you know, we met online through RSVP dating site. And Andy is everything that I wrote on my list and more. So, you know, if you went back and actually ticked the whole thing, everything that I asked for, I actually got. So this process works. And, you know, I've coached other women that have done this as well, many other women, you know. So what I'm sharing with you, my darling, is a proven process. And, you know, I promise that when you do this, it will happen for you too. But the caveat there is that, you know, you've got to grow into being the person who matches your vision. Yeah. So, and that involves doing that inner work and, you know, holding your vision, taking action, stepping up, learning, refining, all of those types of things. Yeah. Because the truth is that there's, you know, an abundance of quality men out there. There's so many men out there. There is no shortage of men, right? They are just as frustrated trying to find the right woman as we are trying to find the right man. And, you know, they're frustrated with women who are, you know, gold diggers. They're frustrated with women who are, you know, scatterbrains. They're frustrated with women who don't know what they want. They're frustrated with women who, you know, just want to, you know, lead with their sexuality but have got no substance behind that. They're frustrated with women who, you know, hung up with all their previous stuff, that, you know, don't want to let the walls down, that are sort of 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. You know, they're frustrated with women that disempower them. You know, they call them ball busters. They're frustrated with all the stuff that they're seeing from women, right? So, you know, when we become the top shelf woman and we clean our stuff up and we understand how to bring out the best, we stand out. And, you know, we are then the woman that these guys, you know, absolutely want to be around. Because, you know, if we really understand attraction, it's not from the head, it's from the heart, yeah? And attraction is when our equal and opposite energy, our masculine and our feminine, are both empowered. And that's when, you know, we become attracted. So equal and opposites attract, same energies repel. So if we show up in masculine energy, we're going to repel a masculine man and attract a softer, you know, more gentle, maybe a weak or wishy-washy sort of, you know, mummy's boy or something like that, that actually wants to draw off of our strength. So a man who's more in his feminine energy. So, you know, if we want that strong gentleman who's going to have our back and be there for us, we need to be in our strong feminine energy to be able to create that attraction. So, you know, the truth bomb is a little secret. Men fall in love with a woman because of how he feels around her, right? So when he feels more like a man, he will fall in love. That's the secret, right? That's the bottom line. The key to a man's heart is to make him feel more like a man around you. So how we do that is by truly understanding the male psyche and understanding the feminine psyche, and then empowering our own feminine energy, and, you know, learning how to amplify his masculine energy by showing up and really being that woman who brings out the best in him. And I teach you all of this content, by the way, ladies. So everything that all of these secrets are all in the content. So what we do, though, we do need to step into being the top shelf woman, right? So if we want the strong gentleman, we need to be his equal and equivalent opposite match. So this woman is all about, you know, feeling love and joy and radiant and, you know, contented and happy, you know, having a good life even without a man, right? But it's about, you know, feeling like, you know, life is good, would love to have a partner, but, you know, I'm still having some fun and living a great life now. You know, being clear about what you want, knowing that it's out there, and being willing to take action is really important. Being ready for a relationship, but letting him lead. So, you know, our role is to be welcoming and inviting and encouraging for him to come closer, because men actually fall in love when they do a little bit of work and pursue us and earn us. Yeah. So if we're doing the masculine energy, which is the chasing and the, you know, the pursuing him, it feels too easy for him. And it, you know, as he becomes more, he actually feels better about himself, and he feels more of a man, and he's more likely to fall in love. Yeah. So getting that balance is really important. Being open-hearted, sharing from your heart, you know, nurturing him, playing with him, having fun, you know, being beautiful and sensual, out of the head and into your own body and your own sexuality and your own sensuality with, you know, beautiful smells and tastes and sounds and, you know, all of that sort of thing. So, you know, being soft on the outside because you're so strong on the inside from the inner work that you've done. And, you know, when we can get to that place, my darling, you are in control, right? You're in the driver's seat because you feel beautiful, you feel clean in terms of your energy, your intention. You understand, man, you understand how to, you know, really connect with them very quickly, how to draw them closer, and how to lean back and enjoy having them pursue you. So there's 7 steps, my darling. There's 7 steps to how to, find this beautiful love. And the first step is about self-love. So before anybody comes into your life, this is a time to turn the torch on the inside and actually really shine the light on any parts of you that you're not loving at the moment. And let's start loving them. Let's start flipping them over. Let's start seeing the gifts in everything that's brought you to where you are now. And seeing the value, the extraordinary value that you bring to your man and the world, and, really loving yourself enough to honor yourself with what you want most, how to set boundaries for what you will and won't accept, all of that type of thing. So self-love sits at the center. Then what we do is we get clear about what you really, really want. And that's all about, creating a beautiful, compelling and magnetic vision. Understand men in love. So, as I said, this is quite a complex piece of work, but when you get it, it's very, very powerful, and it will be a life changer, I promise. When you really understand that masculine and feminine love energy, it's so beautiful, and it's like, wow, all the lights will start turning on, and I'm going to teach you all of that. Next step is, owning your feminine power, getting out of any masculine. We'll always have a little bit of masculine energy, you're never all one or all the other, but knowing how to consciously choose to be in your feminine energy around your man. Healing and forgiving your past pain. As I said, you can't move into a new relationship with an open heart if you're still hanging on to the old stuff. So, healing and releasing, having a plan, taking action. It's probably unlikely that he's going to fall out of the sky and land in your lap while you're sitting on the lounge watching Netties. So you're going to have to get out there and reflect and refine. And what I mean by that is, being able to continue to look at where you are, what results you're seeing, where do you need to tweak, where do you need to continue to do some more work. And this process, might be really quick. It might take a little more time. It just all depends. It happens in divine timing. But I promise you, if you keep going through these steps, and I'll support you throughout that journey, you will be able to have that relationship. So what we've done is we've put together a step-by-step program, which is into modules. So the first module is all about knowing what you want, what you really, really want. And what I mean by that is going 3 levels deep: your head, your heart, and your soul. So where it makes sense, and where it feels good, and where you know that it's right for you on all levels. That's what I call alignment: your head, your heart, and your soul. And when we step into that. That very powerful vision, that will act as a GPS for you to be able to guide you along your way to find the man that you want. To be able to attract the high frequency, great, beautiful, loving, fabulous soulmate relationship that you deserve, you need to be in a high frequency emotional energy yourself, right? So we'll talk more about this in the modules, but basically what I want to share with you today is just that as you shift how you're feeling, which also happens to shift how good you're feeling, by the way, how much joy and energy and fun and passion that you bring to life, as we start to do that work and come up the emotional scale, it's sort of like a hot air balloon, right? So if you've got a hot air balloon and you've got all these sandbags, you've got to throw the sandbags over for the hot air balloon to rise. So we've got to clean up some of the lower frequency emotional energies to be able to get you into that manifestation zone where you get something really, really beautiful that starts to show up. And that's the equivalent of your vision. I'm going to teach you the science of men and women in love. So, inside his head, what does he need from us to, want to fall in love, pursue, connect, hang around, commit, cherish us, when he's under stress? What does he need? All of those. How do we empower? How do we empower his masculine? Covered off all of that for you. Masculine and feminine energy, just so powerful. Basically, this is the piece that underpins all of this program. If you don't understand the masculine and feminine, you're probably will get limited results. So this piece is truly beautiful, and I promise you that when you get it and embody it, you'll be happier and more flowing and feel good in yourself as well. So yeah, we're going to get inside his head, teach you all the sorts of things that he wants and needs, and in ways that he may not even know how to tell you. So, men are, I just love men very much, but, women are the emotional leaders. Women have a more emotionally developed brain. Men have a more logically developed brain. That's just how we're created, right? So men are more rational, linear, structured process, whereas women are better at being able to understand on a deeper level, what his needs and fears and, all of that sort of things are. And I'm going to show you all of that, right? So I'm going to show you in a way that he may not even be able to tell you, but when you start doing these things, he will be more than happy, I promise you. I'm going to teach you how to empower a man to pursue you and, fall in love with you and commit with you. I'm going to teach you all of that. I've written a book which includes, which is about getting him to step up, and it includes, loads and loads of scripts for things like, if he just wants a booty call, or you like him but he's, not asking you out, or, he's, leaving it until last minute to ask you out on a Saturday night. And, there's a whole stack of different scenarios, and I've given you lots and lots of really beautiful, playful, but very, very clear and powerful scripts in that book about how to bring out the best in him. I'm going to talk about becoming the top shelf woman who holds the power in love. And as I said, women do have power because our emotional part of our brain is so strong that we can really understand this and come to the table with that. And he will think he's the luckiest man alive. I give you a man plan, which is, I liken it to if you were to sell a beautiful, if you had a beautiful house, you want to sell that house. You're going to need to, show it off in its best light. You need to have a high value on it. You need to know who your potential buyers would be. You need to talk about the features that are going to draw in those buyers and make them interested. You're going to need to qualify them to see whether they're tire kickers or a serious buyer. And then you're going to have to negotiate and so on, right? So that's basically the process. And I'm going to teach you how to write a dating profile, your dating photos, how to how to get noticed for all the right reasons, and how to be clear about what you're looking for so that you attract the right ones and repel the ones that you don't want. So I'm going to teach you all of that. I'm going to teach you about navigating the jungle of dating. So, you've met you're out there, you've met some guys online. It's time to go out and be out in the dating land. What do you wear? What do you say? Who pays the bill? What are some things that you can talk about? What are the do's and the don'ts? And, when should you have sex? When should you not have sex? And, what are the red flags, that might warn you to run? What are the sort of things that you can do to, be informed, stay safe, and have some fun along the way. And the last module is keeping love alive. So, very often we meet somebody and we think, oh, wow, this could really go somewhere. But then, we hit that stage where, the first few stages of love, which are, a bit goo gaga, our brains like we're on cocaine. And our logical brain doesn't actually kick in until the fourth stage of love, by the way, which is really interesting. But, we start to get a bit of conflict. We start to see that, maybe they're not perfect after all, maybe we're not perfect after all, whatever. But then we start to sort of, things fall off track. So, what I'm going to teach you in this module is all about, getting that deeper understanding before things fall off the track. Making sure that you are aligned, that you do really understand each other's needs, and that you can sort of build all of this before you actually get into crisis mode, so that you can have that lovely deep understanding of each other, which will get you through the inevitable bumps that will come along the way. So our program is a head, heart and soul program. It does work on 3 levels. So it's got to make sense. It's got to be strategic. It's got to get results, and it's got to deliver. And I know it does. It's got to feel good. It's got to come from your heart. But the piece that I think is the most powerful is that this is all about aligning with your own wisdom, your own inner truth, right? So at some level, you already know the answers. You already know what feels right. This is your intuition. This is your gut. This is what's right for you, right? So at every point throughout this program, we're going to be tapping into your head, your heart, and your soul to make sure that it's aligned and that it is right and that you are safe and that it is, what's right for you. So, my darling, if you've come this far and you're here with me, I would say to you that, you're obviously interested in having this beautiful relationship. You're obviously a woman who, is ready for love. You're going to get it at some point, right? You're going to get that relationship. It will happen. I have certainty that it will happen for you. But you get to choose whether you do it on your own or you come with us on the journey. And I want to invite you to consider joining myself and, another group of awesome women on our journey. So, you get to choose whether you go on the path in your go-kart, trying to work it all out on your own. It took me 5 years and 5 million tears. Or, jump in here into the Porsche, and we'll give you a nice ride along the way that might be faster, more fun and more exhilarating and get you to the outcome a little bit faster. So, what we do here at the Top Shelf Woman is we have a circle of women. Now, for years and years and years, women have come together. So, if we go back to the ancient history, men would go out and hunt, and, they would do that individually because they all want to bring home the best wildebeest for their families, whereas the women would hang out together in the villages and, go to the well and, share the care of the children and, prepare the vegetables and grow things together and so on. So women would collaborate. And, what we have here as the women's circle is a group of women who all have the intention of finding beautiful love and who are all here to support each other on the journey and to empower each other, that are also going through the same journey, and to collaborate and support. So, really, really powerful energy in a group of women coming together, all wanting the same thing. So, this group of women are all here together, learning the skills, supporting each other, building their own confidence, taking a chance, making things happen, taking action, and are creating their dreams every day. So this is the opportunity to tap into this collective energy. And, this is what our Top Shelf Woman Circle is all about. Not only do you get the learning, the modules, which is all of the self-paced learning, but you tap into the power of this group. And, this group of women are extraordinary. And, this is all about not only just creating, a beautiful, loving relationship, but creating a beautiful life. And that comes from, being truly confident and happy and feeling beautiful as a woman. So, my darling, I want to invite you now to join us. And what that looks like is this. So for $97 a month, which, if you work that out, it's like a cup of coffee a day or less. And, what I want to give you within that membership is all of the modules, right? So there's 6 modules, and they, all that content that I've talked about, you get all of those modules, plus lots of self-paced activities and, journaling options and, a chance to really deep dive. So you get 1 module released a week, yeah? So there's plenty of content in there to keep you going for the week. You get access to the private circle on Facebook, which is a community where we all hang out and, you might be sort of, writing your online dating profile, and you might want to pop it up and say, what do you think about this? And everybody can chip in and say, yeah, look, I'd change this, or that looks great, or whatever. You can talk about, you met this guy, but he's done this. Would you consider that's a red flag? Or, it's that really safe forum to be able to share what's going on in your dating journey and to get some insights from other women that might not be quite as close to it as you. Live coaching. So I'm going to be jumping on really regularly, and doing what I call a hot seat Q&A. So, you can send in your questions, I'll jump online, and we're going to work together to be able to share those questions and work through them in the group context. If you're experiencing it, no doubt somebody else is as well. There's also expert interviews. So we've got a whole group of different expert interviews that you'll be receiving on a fortnightly basis. And, that's everything from spirituality to women's health, stress, personal styling, family lawyers about, what they see in breakdowns and how to get through that and come out the other side, money, career, all sorts of really awesome interviews there for you. And some extra special little gifts that I've got for you. One is a meditation, which is like an invocation or a prayer. Listen to it as you go to bed, and it's all about, programming your subconscious mind to, heal the past and open up your heart to love and call in your future man. There's lots of stuff around understanding men, understanding men in love, how to bring out his best with all those scripts. Your online dating profiles, the Top Shelf Woman Manifesto. There's loads and loads of stuff in here that I've got for you. There's too much to list, but the opportunity for you today, my darling, is $97 a month. You can join by just going to the topshelfwoman.com. And then go to the work with me section and just pop in there. There is no long-term contract. You can cancel any time. My goal is to continue to give you value. I'd love you to come and stay for as long as you want to stay. And I'd love to be able to know that not only are you staying, but you're getting so much out of it that you're referring, your friends and people that into the circle as well, because that's how we grow. And I will be rewarding everybody who refers a friend with a free month's membership. So we want to grow the circle, we want to empower women, we want to give everybody the awareness and the insights and the tools to be able to have what they want most. So now, so some of you may know my story. I'm not sure. I was diagnosed in May 2018 with breast cancer, and it was a pretty tough journey for me. But one of the gifts that came out of it was that I felt like Spirit spoke to me and said, you really need to get this program going, because I felt so much love and support from my sisterhood, and so much love and support from my amazing man, Andy, by my side. So, what came to me was that, I wanted more women to have a beautiful, loving relationship for the highs and the lows of your life. Sometimes, there are some lows, and having that strong man by my side was just the most beautiful gift I could ever have wished for. And also having a circle of sisterhood was, a powerful gift as well. So for every member who joins, we will be donating money to breast cancer research to support other women who are also experiencing breast cancer. Now, my darling, we're just about to wrap up, and by now you will know whether you are going to join us for, the Top Shelf Woman Circle, and, step up and have some fun along the way, and, find this gorgeous man, this amazing man for you. But if you're not in that space yet, the only question I would ask you is, if it's not now, when? When would now be a good time for you? And, if it's not now and you're still here with me, what is it that's actually coming up for you? Is there a fear? Is there some reluctance? Do you think that you deserve it? Do you think that love exists? I don't know what's coming up, but, what sometimes happens when we want something so bad, but we're used to not getting it, is that we kind of go, yeah, but, I want to tell you to kick the butts up the butt, right? So, if you want this, my darling, I promise you that we're here to support you. We're going to give you the tools, and, we're going to get you to the other side. So, if it is your time for love, come on in and join us. This program is a magic program. There's a very powerful spiritual piece in this. There's a very powerful strategy, and there's a lot of emotional intelligence. This is a head, heart and soul program, right? So magic exists, but only when you start to step into becoming the magician, right? So, you know, what I want to show you is how you can embody these three components to be able to create the outcomes. So once again, you know, I really would love you to come and join us. $97 a month, no long-term contract. You cancel anytime you want, and just go to thetopshelfwoman.com /work with me. So, my darling, you are at the right place if you're ready for love. I'm excited about welcoming you and getting your journey on the fast track. It's time, it's now, it's here. Let's do this. So, thank you, my darling, for joining us. I hope you've got a lot out of the content that we've gone through today. If you'd like to get in touch, you can contact me via our website or on email, naomi@naomijoy.com.au, or through our Facebook group, The Top Shelf Woman. So, my darling, that's it for me. Look forward to seeing you on the other side. Have an awesome day because you deserve it. Bye-bye for now.